TWM Podcast.
Hello and welcome to TWM Talks. I am Matty Della, and this week we are reviewing this past weekend as three tribes go to war, but not just with one another, but within themselves. This pointless artistic tripe is to explain that we're talking about NXT Takeover War Games and Survivor Series, the one time a year where brands go head to head to head, apart from the other times a year where brands go head to head to head. Alongside me this week, the man who can fumble open the padlock to the cage around my heart is Mr. Tom Walton.
And we all know that it doesn't take that much fumbling, let's be completely honest.
No, it's usually about a 2-minute klaxon, much like War Games. Anyway, if you didn't know, you do now, you're a part of TWM Podcasts. 6 days a week we bring you wrestling content from around the world, news, reviews, and interviews available on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, Podbean, YouTube, and wherever else you get to your pods. And if you're in the market for a monthly box of wrestling goodness, go check out our friends at Squared Circle Box, squaredcirclebox.com. 10% off your first order. Just use the code TWM News. It has been a mad weekend for all concerned at TWM. It's been all a go-go. We've had War Games, we've had Survivor Series, then for some of us we've also had Progress and Attack Pro Wrestling and Rev Pro. We'll be discussing those shows in particular on Wednesday's podcast, the Indie Wrestling Show, but we're here to talk about the two pay-per-views from this past weekend, and they were a bit good, weren't they, Tom?
Yeah, they were quite enjoyable in the limited amount of time that I've had to watch them. It flew by, to be honest, because it was a great caliber of wrestling, to be honest.
I will say this, kudos to WWE/NXT. War Games, I don't count the pre-show because it's usually on early enough, but War Games, 2.5 hours, 2 hours 45. Survivor Series clocked in at a beautiful 3.5 hours. It was not that long at all. I was fearing the worst, and if anything, we got the best. And I will give everyone a heads up now. I'm fairly certain there will be an argument quite quick into War Games, because definitely we are on two separate sides of a certain thing that happened. Captain Cota's at the wheel. Let's talk about Takeover.
Your dirty mouth. You watch your dirty mouth.
So we go straight into the kickoff, and it's the first time ever in NXT history they had a match on the kickoff. But before that, we find out that Mia Yim is out of War Games. They say, quote unquote, she was attacked backstage. But in all fairness, if anyone saw the ladder match of her and Io Shirai and the ladder she took to the face, you knew, because she apparently legit broke her nose during that spot, which is not shocking at all if you saw the spot that happened. And Dakota Kai is in. We were all excited at this point. Only half of us were excited in hindsight.
Now, the great thing is, obviously, all of you did the predictions. The predictions for you guys were at 9 p.m. UK time.
Yeah.
I was in bed. It was midnight here. I had no idea about Dakota Kai being subbed in for Mia Yim until I actually watched the show.
Oh, this is glorious. But before we get to that, let's talk about Angel Garza going over Isaiah Scott in a pretty good match. First of all, Isaiah Scott, he's just, I said this on Twitter, that he's a ready-made top-tier star. I do reckon that he'll be a world champion within the next 1 to 2 years, be it NXT or another brand. I'd reckon he's just made to be like the hood ornament of a company.
He's just oozes charisma, and his ability level is off the chain as well. He is amazing. I mean, we've seen him live quite a few times, and someone to hold the audience in the palm of their hand like he does.
Yeah.
You only get a few every generation, and he is definitely going to be one of them. And there's a reason that NXT are probably going to push him to the sky in the next year.
And also the thing is that I don't think, as we mentioned, they've not really let him talk yet, and that's one of his biggest strengths, is being able to talk people into the building. So I'm very excited for that. Also, Angel Garza, we got a little bit of him many moons ago on that other podcast, because he was in Impact for a brief period of time as Garza Jr. And he's come in, and he's another tremendous talent. It depends what they're going to do. It looks like 205 Live might be on life support at the current time. We're not sure whether they're going to pull the plug on it or not. Either way, there will be an NXT Cruiserweight division regardless. And I feel like the Angel Garza is just one they can build that division around because he is so good. So I get behind him quite a bit, and his rippable pants. Garza with the double stomp on the outside and the house call, and then see off Scott with the wing clipper for a victory. Right, you could be the neutral party on this, because McIver was live tweeting War Games, did an excellent job as well. He doesn't like Garza's finisher. He said it doesn't look painful. I disagree. I think it looks incredibly painful. So you can be the arbiter here.
And you know what? I'm going to be completely Switzerland on this. It depends how it's hit. Like, if he hits it properly, it looks devastating. But if it's just one slight move, if it's a couple of centimeters off, then it doesn't look like it connects properly, and that's where it takes all the emphasis out of it. It's one of those where it hits properly, brilliant. Doesn't hit properly, yeah. I mean, some moves you can always get away with it. Like rock bottom, for example. You slip on that, you're still slamming the guy to the ground. As simple as that. So if you do a stunner like Doris does and land on your knees instead of your ass, it's still a stunner.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, he was saying, "Oh, it doesn't look painful at all." And I'm like, but he's got your neck, and he's got your neck and your like cranked up with your arms trapped, and he's dropping you ass first with your neck underneath your shoulder, and just looks painful. You can say the same thing for the house call, in all fairness, because that's a great move if he catches you flush. If he doesn't, it does look like you've whiffed a kick and you've beaten the person with it. So hopefully he uses the stomp, or can use the what's he called, the JML, something like the J something driver that he does. He can use that as well, which is a really, really good move. I've seen it before. We've both seen it, but it's another good move in his arsenal. Right. War Games, female edition. Team Ripley defeating Team Baszler. Before we get to all of it, this was unspeakably good.
Honestly, the women went, "Oh, we're kicking off the weekend. Awesome. Okay, there's the ring. There's everything. Have fun, everyone else. Goodbye." Yeah,
it pretty much was that. I think someone put it on Twitter that Christian said, "If you're not going to be in the main event, I'd rather go on first so I could be like, right, everyone follow that." Yeah.
You, of course, you want to open the show or close the show, and wow, they opened the show.
They did. And it wasn't just in regards to spectacle, because you know what? We've had a fair few brutal War Games. This was probably like the most vicious one I've seen. Like, they went for it, man, on this. This was like proper like blood and guts War Games. Obviously no blood. I did think we may get some, but it didn't happen, alas.
I think someone may have split a lip, and that was the worst it got.
Yeah, that was. Was that? Who was it? Was it? Someone, I can't remember who did. I know they did.
Someone did. I can't remember at all.
Candice and Io started off in the opening 5 minutes and just beat the shit out of each other. Io hit the double knees in between each ring, and then a beautiful springboard drop kick, doing the whole Rey Mysterio bouncing from one rope to the other, which was really, really nice. Bianca Belair comes in then, and then Rhea Ripley evens the odd and brings in some plunder. And then
that was just beautiful.
She's getting over
honestly, though, she went from the biggest face to the biggest heel because they were saving the tables.
That was it. She kept throwing everywhere, like, tables! He's like, no, we're not allowed tables.
Not in this match. You get them later. Be patient.
It was that was the wrestling version of dessert. It's like you finish your trash cans and chairs before you get your tables.
That trash can.
Oh, the Belair thing, generally, like, nasty looking bump. Really nasty.
I think someone put on Twitter, either it's the worst trash can ever, or they just went, screw it.
Yeah, because it did just disintegrate underneath. Yeah. Under Belair.
It's like one of those cartoons when something gets flattened and it just like sways in the air.
It just floats back down. Then we get Kaylee Ray coming in, and she's a dab hand with a weapon, if you're aware of her backstory. She comes and grabs a few weapons and then just lays waste to everyone with a chair, hitting a really nice tornado DDT. We get a big huge Tower of Doom onto a big stack of chairs. Then Dakota Kai, the next person in.
Excuse me, let me open up this can.
Captain Cota's at the wheel, doo-dah, doo-dah. Captain, this, like, I can't, obviously, we are talking over audio, but you may have seen in various group chats that I have changed my background of my phone. My lock screen is a picture of me and my my lovely better half, but my home screen, it is the picture of Dakota Kai after she kicked Tegan in the face.
Tegan didn't even get to wrestle. Oh, see, I'm going to go proper Welshie now. And I was really angry about it, right?
But it's like, it was such a good turn.
I don't know about you. There's going to be a lot of talking over each other for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I honestly, storytelling wise, excellent. I think a lot of us felt it was coming. After the whole leaving, getting left out of the team, losing the tag team title match, and just everything the last couple of weeks, we kind of felt it was coming.
What I will say is the best thing about it, I wonder if you're going to go on to this, I'll let you carry on, is that this was great because we all thought it seemed likely, but it was that perfect turn of they could do that, but they wouldn't. Would they? Would they do it? Would they do it? And they fucking did.
But Dakota's too nice to do it. She needs to. Oh no! She has just messed up her knee again.
Oh,
it
was
and again. And again, and again, and again, and again. I think you get the point.
Yeah.
I mean, Dakota, you have knee problems yourself. You have one good knee. Tegan has no good knees.
It was just.
She is your friend. She is your buddy. She is your pal.
It was so good. Me and we were speaking about this in the aftermath. Again, talking like in regard to this perfect heel turn. Honestly, this could be like the next Ciampa Gargano.
Yes.
Oh, because
don't you?
Because the key thing is we spoke about this is look at the last few big heel turns they've done in NXT and look at how good the heel themes have been. Ciampa, when he had the booze at first and then he got his really fire theme. Io's turn, her theme is banging. Dakota's one has got to be. I turned around and said it's got to be as close to TK Cooper's old Progress theme without being TK Cooper's old Progress theme. But in my head, I've got Dakota coming out of NXT to a knockoff version of Keep It 100 wearing dungarees.
Oh my God. That would work.
DK Cooper! I want DK Cooper!
Dakota Cooper. She sounds like a Super Mario villain when you say that. Don't say that.
It's so well done. I lost my mind. Like, generally, because I love Tegan. Tegan's great, and I know the funny thing is, it's really funny to mark out for Dakota when you've got people that legitimately know Tegan, and they're like, "Oh my God!" and I'm like, "Kota." And just texting everyone saying Captain. My Twitter bio now says Captain Kota's at the wheel.
I have seen it and I have ignored it. I believe the best thing though we can take from this, it was Shirley on Twitter when she was like, "I'm only watching to watch Tegan, and you do that, I'm turning off."
Oh, it was great.
The only reason she stayed up. Honestly, thank God it was the first match.
It was so. Thing is, though, also the beatdown was so visceral because it generally was marking up aside and joking aside. After about the fourth or fifth shot, and all you're hearing is Tegan screaming, genuinely, it was really uncomfortable. So uncomfortable to watch.
It was about 16 hits.
It was
something. It was ridiculous, and it was.
I don't know how, because one thing I've been saying this because we've been talking a lot since Tegan's come back of wrestler return anxiety, like watching her come out and scared that she's going to hurt herself. And then my biggest thing with her is her knees, her wearing no knee pads with the knee braces. It freaks me out because I'm just like, you need some coverage there. And watching her with those knee braces, luckily I think she was side on, so that thing was just smacking the knee brace, so it was safely done. I will say that. But it's just, you watch it, it's like one wrong move that could really you could shatter her kneecap, and I was genuinely fearful. The
best thing is though, they came out in matching gear.
Oh, they did, and it was really cool matching gear as well. It looked
awesome. because it was like the kind of neon kind of effect, and it would look brilliant. You're like, yeah, we get to see team kicking. They could do that. No, they won't. They could do that. No, they won't. They've done that. That's shit.
It's just like, I'm just thinking of all the matches down the line. I would love them to combine the feud, and maybe we get Kai and Io against Candice and Tegan in like tag matches. That would be really, really cool.
That would be brilliant.
We could get the weirdest thing, because we said, a lot of people said like the next person to be champion will be Rhea, and then you go for Rhea and Dakota down the line. We could get the ultimate flip, which is we might have face Rhea against heel Dakota for the belt in like a year or two, which is insane.
Something that I've never thought about, and now I want to happen everywhere.
Because I'll get to Rhea Ripley later on. But sky rockets for Ripley. It was just good. And then the thing that everyone seems to have missed, I didn't cook it at first. She talks and it gets bleeped out. Someone on Twitter said that she calls the entire squad a bunch of filthy cunts, which is like, of course you do. Right, of course you do.
I only watched obviously I've watched the replay about 8 or 9 hours later, so it was all bleeped out, and I was like, well, she said something. Yeah. Probably just called them bitches. She said that.
Someone on Twitter said that she dropped the C word, and I was like, of course she did. She's from New Zealand. Like, that's like one of 3 places where that word is borderline acceptable to say.
Yeah, it's New Zealand, the UK, and...
Oh, no, technically 4. Yeah. The UK, you could say. So UK overall, New Zealand and Australia. Because over there, it's just she was just calling them friends. Anyway, the other bit of this is...
There's still a match happening. That's the best.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, a match is going on. Also, a third thing, Shayna Baszler with the shit-eating grin is like, ha, 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 we've got 4 and you've got 2.
That was really...
It was so good. It was... And then they go in and then makes it 4-on-2. But Rhea Ripley and Candice take control. Ripley suplexing Kaylee Ray into the cage. Really ugly bump, but then Kaylee Ray is just a ridiculous bump machine. We get the dueling submissions with Rhea not locking in the inverted cloverleaf on the top rope as Baszler chokes out LeRae. LeRae then just kicks the ever-loving crap out of people with kendo sticks and then hits a top rope poison rana on Kaylee Ray.
Oh, now we know that obviously LeRae and Lee Ray. So that's got good.
LeRae and Lee Ray.
We've seen them wrestle in the past. We've seen them wrestle many a time.
Yeah.
They are brilliant together. They know exactly how each other move. So that's the great thing. I was thinking about the chemistry of the people in these matches, and you got to think of the history of like Nox and Kaylee Ray and Candice, Tegan and Candice. So many different knots from years and years.
Yeah.
These women, probably the odd one out, in all honesty, is Baszler and Rhea Ripley.
And then the bonus is Shayna Baszler is probably like is like one of the people at the forefront of modern day MMA getting into professional wrestling. Her and Riddle, you would say. And then Rhea Ripley is just this fucking phenom of like a young early 20s that is going to be the biggest thing in wrestling in a few years' time.
She honestly, this weekend belonged to that girl.
Yes, it did.
This was Rhea Ripley's party. It was, and I think as who watch NXT UK, we have seen this develop over the last year.
Yes.
With her. And for her to now get that prominence on NXT and be a force of just pure destruction is absolutely brilliant. I mean, for example, to give her on SmackDown, to give her that finish against Charlotte was utter genius.
Yeah, it was, everything worked so well. Was happy with pretty much the entire thing. I'm saying this now, and the word potential is going to be the big overarching word, but Rhea Ripley honestly has the potential to be bigger than Becky.
Yes. Yeah, because
the marketability is there. She's
Becky now.
Becky's, I think, she was quite young getting into the game anyway, but I think she came to WWE around 30. I'm going to double. You know what? To the Google mobile. I'm not trusting Google. My like Google Play thing last time. I'm checking it now. She's 32. So she's still got a good 10 years left.
And then Rhea now, I'm sure she's...
And Rhea Ripley's 23.
23, okay. Oh, she came in when she was 21 now.
Yeah. Because she's gone. I remember, if you go even further back, I remember the Mae Young Classic with Rhea Ripley. And basically, I came in and said, they've just bought another Toni Storm. That's what they've done. But she found...
We can't get Toni Storm at the moment. Let's get this one instead. And, the image has been going around for the last 24 hours. The difference between her and 2 years ago is ridiculous.
It is. And she found a gimmick. She found her confidence. She learned from the best. There's no denying that she clearly learned a lot from doing the NXT UK tours and being the Performance Center, and learned a lot from Pete Dunne, because she's very Pete Dunne-ish in her movements. Yes. But she's now found her own feet, and she is going to be the face of NXT. And we could get a female Rock and Austin situation of having two of the best females on the planet, charismatic, wrestling wise, in the same company at the same time. We said it before, was like, we're gonna, like when they did Lynch and Ripley on NXT 2 weeks ago, that amazing last Wednesday on that amazing NXT. Yeah. I said, watch this now, because in about 3 years' time,
This will main event
a pay-per-view, if not main eventing WrestleMania, because it's going. They are that good. Anyway, we got loads of other stuff to get on.
We could talk about this match for like 3 hours.
Yes. So then the really nice finish where earlier on in the match, Shayna Baszler got out handcuffs and was going to handcuff Ripley to the ropes, but it didn't happen. And then as Baszler's got in the Kirifuda clutch, Ripley grabs her hand and handcuffs herself to Baszler. Does a riptide through two open chairs to pin the champion. Just superb. Superb.
I was talking about this with my housemates. They don't watch wrestling a bit. And I just described how she was in the chokehold and clean clutch and literally put the handcuffs on and track. They were like, but no, you can put it. It's like, yeah, but you get the extra momentum from the handcuffs, making it so much easier to pull the arm away. And it was that realization of going, that's actually really smart.
Yeah. It was so...
She's getting these smart finishes as well.
Yeah, so
it's not
well
just
done.
Putting over as a wrestling machine, but she's got that tactical knowledge. That she's got
almost. I was going to say almost a little bit of a cerebral assassin. That's
maybe. She's got that veteran instinct already at the age of 23,
and she's like, we get something like that. We said about the comparison. She's very much like Pete Dunne in how she's already a veteran, even though she's been doing it not that long. And Pete's had like years on independent, whereas Rhea's really only been, I think she did a bit of the Australian independent scene, but not a lot.
I think she wrestled for 2 years before she came to the dub.
Yeah, so she's not as much as Pete Dunne by a long shot. Like, Pete Dunne's wrestling since he was like 15. So
she debuted in 2013. So when she was... Why can I not do math at the moment?
She's 23, 2013. So that was 6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years. So when she was 17.
So actually, a lot more similar to Pete Dunne than we would think. She's very Pete Dunne-ish.
I think Pete Dunne started...
I want to say he's 15-ish, if not earlier.
Yeah. It's the UK. We just throw kids in the ring. It's fine.
Yeah. Somehow, we're still not the youngest one. Japan's the one that throws them in at 8 years old.
That's very true.
Right, we get this match. That was tremendous, and then I'm not gonna lie, it does drop off. Pete Dunne over Damian Priest and Killian Dane. It was good, but honestly, this felt like it was just long for long's sake.
Yeah, I think as a crowd, I think we all knew what singles match they wanted for Survivor Series.
Yeah, no question.
I sat there the whole time thinking, I'm just waiting for Pete to win.
And that's why I think they did about 14 false finish to kind of get people to bite, but no one was biting. I was like, waiting. They had some nice spots. You had like Damian Priest crucifix bombing Pete Dunne onto the announce table, and then the cannonball on the guardrail. The Dane hit a Michinoku driver. I've seen him do it before, Dane. We have the Michinoku driver onto the person, but clearly he misjudged it.
Face.
Onto Damian Priest's face. Then we get like the finger snaps and bitter end, and they kick out. We get an Ulster Plantation, they kick out. And then but the finish at the end, the finish was shit. I did not like it at all.
I will say one thing. There was a sequence with Damien and Dunn that I really liked. And I think it was about 10 seconds of just reversal.
Them two work really well. Killian Dane massively felt like the odd person out here.
Yeah, unfortunately, because we all know what Dane's like.
Yeah,
in the ring. He just felt it wasn't his type of match.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think they put him in as a good base, but in reality, they already had two bases in there, so they didn't really need Killian Dane. They could have just had Priest versus. They should have had either one singles match or something different. The triple threat didn't work. The finish where Dunn on top of Dane does the senton, but then somehow that takes Killian Dane out and Pete Dunne pinned Damian Priest. It didn't work for me. I'm not a massive fan of it. Then we got Finn Balor over Matt Riddle. This was decent. It could have been brilliant, but they did the right thing, I thought, Tom, by keeping this short.
Yeah, they needed this match to be short. After the first War Games and after quite a longer than it should have been triple threat, keeping this under, I think, probably under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was a perfect decision, and it made Balor look such the heel in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't seen him. This is the first time we've seen him wrestle since he's come back as a baddie. Yeah. And I will say one thing: I love how he really hasn't been involved in any of the Survivor Series stuff at all. Yeah,
he's kept himself away. He's made himself a mercenary or rock and roller, and it works real. I love the technical start where they were just going hold for hold. Riddle's trying to get submissions and Balor's not allowing it, and then we get the Balor kind of is just all he's doing is just big forearms and big kicks. Nothing too flashy, just going straight for that. They go strike for strike, and Balor hits a really nice, a beautiful running drop kick where he just pinpoint head, lovely stuff. Riddle does his Goldberg tribute with the jackhammer, but then he goes for the bro mission, but Balor fights out and hits 1916 for the win. Really good, really good.
Yeah, it was a great way to get the new persona of Finn over in the ring and keep Balor fresh, ready for the following night as well.
Indeed. Then we get to the other War Games match, which had a lot to live up to. Team Ciampa over the Undisputed Era. And I was like, I don't think they could top it. Bar, I don't know, bringing in glass or thumbtacks or fire. They're not going to top it, but they can match it. And I do feel like the men matched the women's one.
They were matched or so close to doing it.
Yeah, it was really, really good. We didn't know who the fourth man was, so they did all of that. We opened with Ciampa and Roderick Strong. I did love Ciampa coming out in his war gear. He's not in his tights. He's in his camouflage pants with his crotch,
face paint,
and the Kratos face paint and the Psycho Killer mask as well.
Yes, that was beautiful.
A lovely callback to the fans.
It was the fact that he did not look at the cage once. Straight to the ring. Yeah,
it was just he's like, I'm starting this. You guys started. I started this, and I'm starting this, and also finishing it. Yeah. And then Ciampa offered him his crotch, but then Roddy threw it out, so they just started throwing hands. Kyle O'Reilly comes in, Undisputed Era get the advantage, as is the style. Dijakovic,
very much like last year's War Games, I will say, in that aspect. Where
the men's one does come quite formulaic. I think next year they need to have it without Undisputed, because obviously they're trying to do the whole thing of the four horsemen always in War Games, but eventually you need a different team. I hope next year doesn't have Undisputed Era in it.
No, we need to freshen it up because there are heels. There are heels chomping on the bit now to get into that spot in NXT.
Yeah.
We all know that. And they are ready to take over from Undisputed Era, who, honestly, even though NXT is on TV now, I can see Undisputed Era go into SmackDown.
I think they'll put them, because as much as they say it's a level playing field, you've got an up and coming show on a Wednesday night, the flagship Raw, and then a show on Fox. There's still tiers, so you might be staying on the same level, but it's almost as if instead of going 1, 2, 3, it's 1.5 to 2 now. It's half a level between each one.
Yeah, there's a difference between seeing an arena on SmackDown, no matter how empty it is.
Yeah,
but then seeing the Full Sail crowd, but you know how big that is.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
But we all know after this month, we know that everyone now knows who the Undisputed Era is, and
Yes, definitely. Dijakovic comes in and just lays out Kyle O'Reilly, and he starts just yeeting everyone into the cage. Bobby Fish makes it 3-on-2, and Fish and O'Reilly use their double team to take advantage. Keith Lee runs in and just takes everyone out. Keith Lee hits a double leapfrog, which was genuinely insane.
It was just like, what? Wait, there's two of them. You're quite big. I mean, we all know how Keith Lee can move, but that's just crazy.
Yeah, that was like full borderline splits in midair. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Adam Cole comes in and he brings in all the tables.
Yay! It's like, you wanted these earlier? Fine. You will get all the tables we have.
You like tables? How about all the tables in the world? Just puts them all in the ring. By the way, we won't mention it in the women's war game, but I did love Kayla Ray pulling a table out and then putting it back. Yeah, ultimate heel thing.
No.
Oh, it was great. Tommaso then, I love this because he gets so distracted that Tommaso Ciampa comes in and just pie faces at him off the stairs through a table on the outside, which was really nice.
Beautiful way of just keeping one of those tables, getting Adam Cole out of the match for that little bit.
Yeah, then we get the Avengers spot, which is the Ciampa Undisputed Era squaring off, and then Keith Lee's taken out of a low blow. Then we get the countdown and no one arrives, and they're like, no one's coming, and then and everyone's like, oh my god, they actually did it. It was... And Kevin Owens with his old Titantron and his old NXT gear, and I was like,
it was brilliant.
Oh, so well done, so well done.
You hear the pop from the crowd, and it's the loudest pop all weekend.
Yeah, it was like, I don't think there was anyone else they could have had come out that would have got as big of a pop.
Unless Gargano wasn't actually injured all this time, there was no one else.
Although Owens got a bigger pop than Gargano, I feel, because that would have been the only, I'd say. Yeah. Keith Lee and Dijakovic then throw Roderick Strong from one ring to the other. Nearly goes horribly wrong because he misjudged it and he ends up going through the middle rope rather than over the top. I was like, you were about an inch away from
something bad.
Yeah, definitely.
It was, yeah.
And then we get like loads of high flying moves, a moonsault from Bobby Fish, where he ends up kneeing Dijakovic in the head, which looks really nasty. Strong is a massive Olympic slam on Keith Lee, followed by the Undisputed Era double teaming him, and then Dijakovic, and then Owens launched them all into the cage. Owens teased the package pile driver. You bastard! You got my hopes up. You bastard!
I was there. I was just like, do it. No, do it. Do it. No.
Yeah, I was like, I think I did message everyone. I went, this match is only ending one way, and it's ending with a package pile driver. You know, like he's going to do it. He's got to do it. And then Cole hits the Panama Sunrise onto the grate. Of course, Kevin Owens takes that because he's mental. Ciampa hits Project Ciampa onto Kyle O'Reilly and then runs wild on everyone, hitting all these big knees. And then... you get the whole Ciampa and Cole end up nearly going for moves. They climb up to the top. Then we get all these massive table spots. Dijakovic chokeslams Strong for a table. Owens frog splashes O'Reilly. O'Reilly's got a choke on Dijakovic, and Dijakovic lays him down the table, and then he moves just in the nick of time as Owens comes off with a frog splash.
It was such a great little spot that obviously it gets overshadowed by what happens 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
But just the technicality of that to move at that last moment.
Then Keith Lee super bombs Fish for a third one. We then see Ciampa and Cole on top of the cage.
Oh God.
Tommaso Ciampa hit, I'm saying this now because I put this on Twitter, the scariest spot I have ever seen, and I am counting on both falls in the Undertaker Mankind match. This was scarier because there was much more margin for error.
It could have gone so wrong, and yet they hit those tables.
There was a 25% chance of that getting it right. If they wobbled one way, the other, or forward, they were one or both of them were going head first to the floor.
At this point, I was watching it on TV yesterday, and my housemate was sitting there, and he looked up at that single moment and just went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it was. And think about it. Ciampa's returned from neck surgery 2 months ago.
That man is a cyborg.
He's not real. He's not a real human being. The air raid crasher from the top of the cage with a jump, so about 20 feet in the air, through 2 tables. There's 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Adam Cole dies in War Games. And he picks up the win. Love that. Like we said, overall thoughts. What grades do you give this War Games overall?
War Games overall. The 2 War Games matches were perfection or near perfection. I will say it's those 2 matches in the middle, and honestly, I think next year we need to go back to 1 War Games match, maybe only a women's match next year, and a men's match the year after. We need to alternate, because 2 War Games matches, for that shorter card, it's too much for the other matches.
Honestly, and it sounds weird, if they just did women's and men's War Games on that card, and had them both be an hour each and have a 2-hour pay-per-view, this would probably be the best takeover ever. But
that shows you the standard that Takeover. The
Yeah.
fact that we are moaning about 2 perfectly good matches. It's just like, yeah, they were good matches, but it's not what we expected from a takeover.
Yeah, it's just like...
If those 2 matches were on a main card, we would be like, oh, they were brilliant.
And it's one of those things, like I said, you got 2 A+ matches with the men's and women's War Games. Did not like the triple threat match, that bangs it down, and then the Balor one was fine. So for me, it levels out at a B. It was
B plus because of
Ciampa and Cole dying for our sins.
Yeah, Ciampa and Cole and Rhea jumping on a rocket.
This podcast, and indeed all TWM podcasts, are brought to you by SquaredCircleBox.com, the only place for your monthly wrestling box needs. With things from superstars from WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, British Wrestling, Independent Wrestling, and loads more, it is the only place that matters if you want to get the best wrestling swag for a low, low price. That low, low price is just £25, people. What a bargain! And you can get snapbacks, t-shirts, magazines, DVDs, trinkets, whatchamacallit, doodads, you name it, they have it each and every month. And just because you listen to TWM, you sexy, sexy people, you get 10% off your first order. All you got to do is use the code TWM News in the checkout. Just use the code TWM News in the checkout for 10% off your first order at SquaredCircleBox.com.
I said, why not spread the gospel of the TWM squad with some of our lovely merch over at Teespring? We have t-shirts for all shapes and sizes, hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and loads more. Also, just for listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off your order. I said using the code podcast. That's podcast. Once again, podcast in the checkout for 10% off at teespring.com/stores/TWM-wrestling-merch. That's right. Praise. Testify.
So you haven't seen the kickoff show, so I'll just roll through that as quick as possible. So they announced the Team NXT, which is Walter, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Damian Priest, and Tommaso Ciampa. Kind of as expected in the grand scheme of things. Walter actually probably was the biggest shock. We were surprised. Don't worry, he surprised us even more later on, not in a good way. We got because they announced some random matches just before the show started, which was a tag team battle royal, which we've not seen since WrestleMania 14. Actually, no, correction. Armageddon. Was it Armageddon 99? Armageddon 99, there was a tag team battle royal. Then we got a cruiserweight triple threat match, which was legitimately NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown. And then they put the tag match on the pre-show because, of course, they did. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode win this tag team battle royal. The Forgotten Sons were the first out because, of course, they were. NXT lose to 2 teams early on. I laughed because I always did the caterpillar and then fell over, which was great. He did the caterpillar, tried to stand up and then went, oh fuck, and then fell over. It was brilliant. Then we get down to Rude, Ziggler and the Street Profits. Street Profits look strong, but then Montez forces a big frog splash and Rude just launches him out of the ring. We then, because they kept alternating commentary teams throughout the night, we then get a really weird commentary team for the Cruiserweight match. It was Byron Saxton doing play-by-play and Aiden English.
Wait. What?
We found Byron Saxton. Joe's been asking #Where's Byron for about a month now. We found him. He's just on this random.
It's like a game of Where's Wally now. I'm pretty sure the last time. Crown Jewel.
Yeah, it was. It was Crown Jewel interviewing people backstage.
It's just like, I'm still alive. It's okay.
They're still paying me. Leo Rush over Kalisto, Nikita Tozawa. Again, much like the Pete Dunne Triple Threat match, we knew who was winning this. There was no way Leo Rush was going to lose the Cruiserweight belt. So the Chicago crowd were just being cunts because they just kept chanting CM Punk and let's go Cena sucks. These three were having a decent match. We get like this weird, mad, like Leo Rush does like a Japanese arm drag, Spanish fly off the top rope, which is really nice. The best spot of the thing, Tozawa hits a German. He's doing the bridge. Kalisto runs up Tozawa, so like stamps on his stomach as he's mid-bridge. Does use that as a springboard to roll into a bridging pin onto Leo Rush. It's really fucking cool. And then, Kalisto hits the Selena Del Sol, and then Rush hits the final hour for the win. It was passable. Then we get the triple threat thing, which is good to know because we finally found out Viking Raiders have Undisputed Era, New Day. We found out that it's proper triple threat rules. So it wasn't going to be 2 in and then 1 team on the outside. They had 3 people in. Keep that forever now. That's how it should work. We got some big boy offense between Big E and Eric. Some nice double teams from the New Day. Undisputed Era start working the knee of Kofi. Do a nice little dragon screw, then a knee drop onto the knee and a leg bar. Viking Raiders slam, I think Ivar slams Eric onto the pile of tag teams on the outside. The Raiders use their power, and then Kofi hits that big dirty double stomp thing, and then gets a hot tag. Kyle O'Reilly hits a suplex into the ropes, which looks very, very uncomfortable. Raiders hits a big German, but they're too hurt to cover. Kofi misses Trouble in Paradise, and Trent Sevens the ring post, and then gets high-lowed. Ivar does a really nice movie, cartwheels out of the high-low from Undisputed Era, and then we get the Viking experience and they win. Yay for 50-50 booking. We go into the main show with everyone at 1 apiece. And then we jump straight into the main show. We start off with the Women's Survivor Series match, which is Team NXT, and my first thing was like, look at Toni Storm starting the match.
It's like I've jumped into this whole program at the last second. Everyone.
Because they announced her straight after NXT. They announced the team, and everyone was like, "Oh, is Toni going to be there? Oh my god, Toni's going to be there!" Which obviously led to everyone on Twitter saying, "WWE ruined Brit Wrestling," not being like, "Look, Toni Storm's been given a match on a fucking WWE pay-per-view. Calm down." We got Millie versus Ginny instead at Progress, so it was fine. Yeah, it's brilliant. Toni Storm starting a match is just insane, considering I've watched her be pushed out onto a stage by Jimmy Havoc to talk about her time in Japan literally 2 years ago.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Was you going to name drop a little bit there?
No, I wasn't. I was going to say I remember being at a lucha dive from in the ring to the outside. I'm sitting there, her head literally lands in between my feet, and she just mouths, "Sorry." And I was like, "It's fine."
I think the way you was going to put it, you were going to say her head landed between her legs, and you realised how wrong that was going to sound.
I was going to say that because I've told that answer many times. Okay, so wrestling.
Yes, Io and Kairi stand off early on, and Carmella, who just me and Paige were on because Paige, the lucky devil, was at SmackDown, NXT Takeover, was a Survivor Series, and is at Raw tonight. She's at all 4, and she just put on Twitter, "I love Carmella," and I was like, yes, we must protect Carmella at all costs because she's just the best. And I love this of having the dramatic Joshi standoff between Io and Kairi, and Carmella's like, "I'm right fucking here, hello."
It was just, it's a lovely way to save it. a proper time as well. I don't think anyone else in that match could have had that spot, maybe apart from Dana.
But Dana's then actually the smart one, because she tags in and then just goes, well, you two kill each other, I'll just stand here and wait.
Yeah, that was brilliant. And she just does the shrug and just goes, yeah, go on then.
We then get a big, huge like move spam pretty early on, and then literally I write down my 4 minutes in, who the fuck's legal? I have no idea. And then we cut outside and Io and Candice are hurt and they just leave. The fuck? But then, like, you think about it, it's like, to be fair, those two, like,
straight away
half killed each other. I hope they come back. Spoiler alert, they do. But, like, in all fairness, I think that's fair enough to be like, Candice took some wicked shots in that cage. Io moonsaulted off the fucking thing. Like, they're allowed a nap for a little bit.
Yeah, I saw it the moment they went to the back. In my head, I went, okay, NXT are winning this. They're coming back later.
Belair hits a 450 on Logan. She's gone. Carmella starts pinning people and just screaming. Just pinning and screaming. Pinning and screaming. Mella eats natural selection. She's gone. Everyone then gets annoyed because Banks stops Kyrie eliminating Toni Storm to eliminate her. But I'm telling you, that made sense. It made perfect sense because there was more people on the Raw team, so it made more sense to get Raw down to less people than NXT.
That's very true. That's great. I will say a couple of things. First of all, for 3 or 5 minutes, Belair looked an absolute machine.
It was mad. Belair
looked brilliant. I mean, I can't believe Nikki Cross went so early either.
Yeah. So
I'll say that. Logan, I don't actually think Sarah Logan hit a move, unfortunately.
No, I don't think she did. I think she did. She just came in, acted country, and
she did more than someone in the men's match. Say it that.
This is true. This is definitely true. We then get to Asuka, then just kills Dana Brooke with a kick, and then she's out. Asuka and Charlotte argue, and Charlotte pulls Asuka down by her hair, and Asuka just gets pissed and goes, well, balls to your brand supremacy, miss to the face, and then leaves.
Yes, excellent. It was like, that's what we want to see.
Then Woman's Right and Flair's gone. Evans gets rolled up by Natty, and she's gone. Sharpshooter bank statement combination. So I love how much they put over Toni that she had to be put in a double submission to be eliminated.
Brilliant. Can we just point out that after Natty had she just went, bye bitch.
Very, like, the women very sweary this weekend.
Yeah.
Just good lord, like we're getting C's and B's. Someone need to get some people need a swear jar down by the ring when the ladies are involved.
Byron Saxton, he hasn't got anything.
Yeah, he could stand over a swear jar. No, stop swearing. We get the heart
dollar, please.
We get a heart attack from Banks and Natty, and Belair's gone, so we're down to Natty from Raw, Banks from SmackDown, and Rhea Ripley from NXT. Banks then swerves Ripley and just forearms Natty in the face, and she's eliminated via a forearm because someone needs to do a 2008 Divas Survivor Series match finish. Rhea Ripley and Banks work so well together. Like, I want to see a program of these two. They just connect so well.
Definitely, it was brilliant. Like we said, it's just Rhea Ripley's weekend.
Oh, she's the best. She's so good. She's the best of the wrestlers. They exchange submissions, but then Candice and Io run out, so it's technically 3-on-1, I think. And they run interference. She hits Riptide, and Team NXT win, so they're two falls up. We then
That's the right decision.
See Kevin Owens getting ready, and he says he's Team Raw because they need him, and NXT don't need him, but Raw do. And then I just said, piss off with your Michael Jordan gear, Seth Rollins. It's not going to make people cheer you. If anything, it's going to make them boo you more. We then go to the triple threat match, the mid-card triple threat match, where Roderick Strong went over Shinsuke and AJ Styles. This was a pretty good match. It was a standard three-way, but it
was exactly what we thought it was going to be.
If this had 5-10 more minutes, it would have been spectacular, but they had a job to do, and they did it. Well done on Nigel McGuinness, that told Lawler pretty much to shut the fuck up when he made a dumb trailer park joke about Roddy.
3 times. He did it 3 times.
And it
was brilliant. I was counted, and I was just like, get in there, Nigel.
Yeah.
This is why we need Laura off the commentary team. Sorry.
I will say he's not been awful, and the best times he's been good is when he's had. The fact is, Vic and Dio just no sell him, so he doesn't get any reaction from his stupid jokes. So he has to focus. Like later on in the night, Lawler's focusing on the match because he's just getting no sold by everyone. That's it. He's like a bully. If you ignore him, he goes away.
But it was just Nigel's put downs were fantastic.
It was great. Also, piss off Lawler go like calm down to McGuinness because he's getting excited. Sorry, he's happy about watching wrestling, Lawler. Penis. I did like Roddy when Styles doing the Styles cash. He gets the sit kick to the back of the head, which was a nice little move.
That was brilliant.
Styles is so many. It was just really, really good. I just feel like they could have had longer, but there's too much. There was too much wrestling to happen. Styles hits a phenomenal forearm, and Roddy just yeets Styles out the ring and pins Nakamura. Miz, we can cut backstage, and Miz gives Bryan a pep talk, telling him he has to put a stop to the Fiend for their families, and Bryan just told him to piss off, basically.
You know what though? I liked it. I really liked it. It's like Miz. He was basically saying, "We hate each other, yes, but this." We need to do it for the greater good. Yeah,
this is bigger than all of us. And Bryan's still like, what I love about this is the only time in WWE in ages where you've had two good guys that were formerly, one was a bad guy and one was a good guy, vice versa. And they're not like, oh, we're friends now. It's like, no, I legitimately don't like you. So
it's brilliant.
It's great. We then get Adam Cole over Pete Dunne for the NXT title, and as it was to see him enter a Rumble, how mad is it to see someone we've seen on the British scene, someone who we've both had conversations with, standing at a merch table or near a bar in various, I don't know, community centres in Cardiff, or ballrooms in Camden, or leisure centres in a random place in the middle of Essex one time, and then seeing him in a title match on a Big 4 WWE pay-per-view. It is insane.
This is a guy, 3 years ago, I was making fun of his top knot.
Yes.
In a walkabout.
This was a man 2 years ago that was dressed as it, attacking Kid Lycos.
That was last year.
Was that last year?
I'm sure it was last year.
Oh, Mike will get angry and tweet one of us at some point saying we got the date wrong.
Last year. It was the year before.
2 years.
I was there. I wasn't stuck in the Middle East years ago. Yeah.
Just for the people that listen at home, he's not being held hostage. He's not saying stuck in the Middle East.
I am here by my free will.
I can hear him holding the newspaper up with today's date on as we speak. He's building a stadium. Oh, satire. This match was brilliant.
Yeah.
It flowed so well. They worked so well together. Cole working Pete Dunne's knee, and Dunne working Cole's arms and ribs. I mean, I legitimately bit on Pete Dunne. I thought Pete Dunne was winning a few times. I was like, oh my god, Pete's winning the belt.
Honestly, you know what? I wish I thought it. And I think there was like one part when I went, is he going to win? Is he going to win? Is he going to win? No, he's not going to win.
It was.
I don't know why. I just felt because I think when Cole loses the belt, it's going to be a massive story arc, and I feel if they had done a month or two build to this match instead of going, oh yeah, you guys are going to have a triple threat and one of you wrestle Cole. Yeah, get a proper story behind it for the next takeover. Cole is losing that belt.
It was, I imagine he's losing it at Mania. It would make sense unless they're going to have a really long reign for him. The Panama Sunrise onto the apron was brilliant, but then the bitter end countered into the Panama Sunrise was...
Oh, that was beautiful.
Insane.
There's one more bit as well. Finally, someone decided, he's going to flip over me. I know, I'll just kick him in the head.
I love that spot. He's done that a bunch of times, but that was a really nice one because it was so well
connected. Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Sunrise into the Mad, and then Cole into the last shot. Probably, if we're discounting War Games because they're kind of spectacles, this is probably my favourite match of the whole weekend. I love this match between Adam Cole and Pete Dunne, but I'm not shocked. It's Adam Cole and Pete Dunne. So
yeah, it was. You know what? I'm gonna put it on par for the Survivor Series show with the women's elimination match.
It was probably, I think it's 1 and 2. Them two are my two favourites.
And then they can interchange depending on what. If you like the way elimination matches happen, or if you just like those one.
If you like seeing Tegan Knox get kicked in the face, then you watch the Women's War Games. Then we get The Fiend over Daniel Bryan to retain the WWE title. This was pretty decent. Like, it was there to fill a plot point. They brought in some nice story stuff with Bryan finally succumbing to the Yes movement, but this is all about basically still world building The Fiend. The Fiend some no-sold Yes kicks. He cradled out of the Sister Abigail for a near fall, which is a nice little bit, but then as he's going for the running knee, Wyatt just catches him mid-air, mandible claw, and then gets the pinfall victory. So
I do love the way he applies the mandible claw, because it is just, it's such a big movement, but it's so elegant. He does it.
He can literally, it's one of the best moves to hit out of nowhere, and you can literally do that one out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's when you look at Foley's, and it used to be, it is like he's going for a choke slam.
Yeah,
but this one, you never see it coming. It happens, and it just happens.
This is a weird comparison, but bear with me here. It's the movement of the hand is more similar to the Cobra that Santino does, where it's just a boom straight in. So it does work. Like, sounds weird, but trust me on that one. It's funny, we've been talking about weird people having like the best promos of their career. We've been speaking about on Fridays about how RVD is cutting like the best promos of his life in Impact. Rey Mysterio has cut another banging promo. He's been doing really good promo work in this Lesnar feud.
It's just that experience he's got. Obviously, like 20 odd years.
But he's never been great on the mic. But these promos of him talking about Dominic and Lesnar, it's just worked really, really well.
Yeah, it does, and then we had the match.
Yeah, which was a little bit. But first, we have the men's Survivor Series match to talk about. As Team SmackDown goes over Team NXT and Team Raw. This match was really, really, really fun. However, Walter, the all-conquering NXT UK champion, the unstoppable Der Ring General, getting eliminated in like the first 4 minutes was bollocks.
Did you hear the crowd?
Oh, they were so annoyed because they realised, no, he's meant to be on the same par as a Braun Strowman. You don't have him eliminated inside 5 minutes from a Claymore.
Well, in that 5 minutes, he did look absolutely insane.
But if you're going to do that, then what you should do, it should be like Claymore. He should keep trying to get in the ring, get knocked down. Like, it
should have been all the finishers.
Yeah, that's how you make him look strong. Not one Claymore out, jobbed out, opening thing, because that was like how Shorty G lasted one fall more than Walter is. Oh, it's just embarrassing.
At least
you're making us look bad. Okay, at least he got into the ring, unlike two people that we're talking about. Lovely bit of story. I love the bit with Owens being on top rope and choosing to frog splash Shorty G over Ciampa to eliminate him, which is great.
I'll give you this for yesterday, but that's it.
And then Ciampa goes, here's what I'm giving you. Here's a Willow's bell. I'm eliminating you straight away.
Can I just say one thing though?
Yeah.
How much I want to see a Riddle and, I am not saying the name, a Chad Gable match.
Oh no! Like when I saw these guys wrestle, I was like, "Can we just have this for like 25 minutes,
please?" It was beautiful. So
good.
I was just watching it, going, "I love you both."
Yeah, wrestling. Look at this wrestling. That was me just on my phone on the train, just screaming at people. Yeah. Look, making the train driver stop to like look at this over the tannoy. Everyone watch this wrestling.
Matty, you're stopping the tube. I don't care.
I pressed the emergency button. Everyone must watch this exchange between Shorty G and Matt Riddle. But yeah, we then get a bit of dissension between Team SmackDown because King Corbin's a melt. Orton hits the RKO on Priest and he's gone. But then we get a huge rub for Matt Riddle as he rolls up Mr. Survivor Series, Randy Orton.
I think the way they put over Orton about someone's going to get a big elimination. Because there was no way, I don't think, in this match he was ever in consideration of lasting.
Yeah, he was never going to be the sole survivor. And to give Riddle, and then him get up and be like, oh my god, I just pinned like a 14-time world champion.
Was just like,
and then Randy Orton just like, motherfucker RKO, which was great. And then Corbin, being a shithouse, pins him, which was nice. This was interesting because Strowman got counted out. One, that should have been how Walter got eliminated, unless you're going to do all the finishes. Two, I swear this is like the third year in a row Strowman's been counted out of a Survivor Series match.
And can we just point out as well, it's a Survivor, it was a triple threat match. There were no other counts for when people were outside the ring in the whole match.
I did not notice that. God damn it, WWE. Damn it, D'Lo.
There's a moment about 5 minutes after that. All competitors are out of the ring. The ref is just going, what are you going to do? Get back in. You need to come back in.
Biased.
No count.
Referee is biased officiating, anti-Strowman.
I did love, though, how people just, on the second run around, they jumped over the guardrail going, nope.
Get out of the way.
You've done that once. Fool me once, fool.
After then we get Ricochet gets eliminated from Corbin after the end of days, and then we get a nice little bit where Ali's just running wild, like hometown boy, going mental, knocking everyone down, and Baron Corbin's annoyed that he's doing better than him, so he pulls him out and goes, what are you doing? I should be doing this. And Ali's like, you can't do any of this shit, I'm getting back in the ring. Curb stomp, eliminated, and Corbin's fucked his team over again.
And then it's just...
And then Reigns just goes, fuck off, I'm sparing you, please go.
And he just stands there as he gets pinned as well. He's just like, just get him out of here, please.
Yeah, Reigns speared Drew before that, eliminated him, and then, Corbin gets eliminated by Ciampa. And then Ciampa looked really strong, because he much like Tony Storm, he only lost to a double submission, like double finisher, so like the stomp and the spear combination. And then, as soon as I thought I'd never say in professional wrestling, Keith Lee pinned Seth Rollins clean with his finisher in the middle of the ring. Mad.
It was, right, you could see throughout this whole match, apart from with Strowman, they were saving Keith Lee for the whole time.
It is mental that a few months ago everyone was saying, they've wasted Keith Lee, they've not used him properly, or they've ruined Keith Lee, and look at him now.
It wasn't his time.
The hoss of hosses.
Everyone had to wait. I knew it was going to happen. It was always going to happen. But with the scene on NXT as it was 6 months ago, no, you couldn't have him. He had to wait. They had to bide his time. And now, the perfect time it's in, and he'll take the championship.
I was saying that they've got a laundry list of people now that are rated that championship, and Keith Lee is right up the front. However, I would like to see a proper match of Keith Lee versus Roman Reigns.
Oh, yeah.
It was much like with Tony Storm and Sasha Banks. They work so well together, and the ending was banging with them back and forth, and then Roman hitting the spear. Not mad at Roman winning. The crowd had no Chicago did not.
No problem.
Yeah, Chicago did not boo Roman Reigns winning with a spear. You know that's a good match.
That's because Seth Rollins was in the match and they were booing him.
This is true.
But I think, Roman, he's no longer that all-conquering hero. Good guy. He's no longer suffering succotash Roman Reigns. They're booking him exactly as they should. As a guy who just fights. I
was going to say, going to the next match, I said that I love the Adam Cole Pete Dunne match, one of my favourite. I forgot about this because I fucking love this next match. I think this was my favourite match of the show, and it was Brock Lesnar over Rey Mysterio to retain WWE title. This was a sprint, but it was bloody brilliant. I loved every minute of this. So well done.
Great storytelling in the match yet again, and you can tell when Brock is someone in the ring with someone who cares about, he will put on a show.
It was great. I did also love that. And it made sense to this story for Ray to come out as the Joker with this. Yeah. I was hoping he'd dance down to the ring, but alas, we didn't. We can't always get what we want. Then he gets hit by a car. They open with Brock just stopping Ray, because immediately the bell rings. Ray runs out to grab the lead pipe, and I'm like, yes, that perfect sense. Why would he wrestle him immediately? He's like, no, I'm going to grab a weapon and I'm going to kick the shit out of you. You tried to kill my son. And then he keeps blocking him off and yeeting him everywhere, and then the great spot of the belly-to-belly suplex onto the announce table hood that was propped up on the table, which is he bounced off of, which was a nice little spot. And then Dominic comes in and appears to throw in a towel, but it's a distraction. Ray low blow, Dominic gets a low blow. We get a double 619.
That was brilliant. The double 619. Dominic cracks in 619. it was lovely. It was beautiful.
It was so nice because what I loved is I got a text from Shirley when she gave me her predictions. She had to shoot off early when we're on Twitch. So predictions. One of the predictions was Dominic hits a 619 on Heyman. I was like, how did you get that nearly half right? And then Dominic hits a frog splash that's legitimately better than his dad's frog splash.
Yes, it really was.
Oh, it was such a good, so good. Like, I'm shocked at how good he is.
It's like an RVD 5-star.
It was. He does. It's not hands together in the middle. It's push in, push out, and
and he saves the push out right for the end.
I've got very high hopes for him because he looks really, really good. Dominic then goes up seemingly, I think, for a moonsault. I don't know what he was doing. Reverse 630. He's going, fuck it, I'm going mental. And then he gets caught and Germaned, and the look on his face where he's like, I have made several mistakes in the last 5 minutes. And then I never really done this spot before, but I've always wished, because it's perfect for the thing. Ray flies top rope, and it's not catch into a slam, throw up. It's I catch you on my shoulders for the F5. Hits it for the win. Love this match. So good.
It's the Lesnar match that's under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Every Lesnar match that he's had in the last 3 years that have been under 10 minutes has been brilliant. It's those ones that get dragged out. Brock Lesnar matches, as you said, need to be a sprint. Yeah. If they are a sprint, they are amazing.
And again, people against smaller than him and Daniel Bryan, him and AJ Styles, him and Finn Balor, him and Ray. Brilliant, fantastic. Yeah. And you know what? On 10, I do agree, because I think him and Joe was really good as well, to be fair. Shayna, then we get the main event, and I'm not gonna lie, there was like, in hindsight, I see why they went for this, because it's the match they've been building up the most. However, there was probably about 3 other matches that could have been the main event, because this was just okay. Shayna Baszler over Becky Lynch and Bayley. In hindsight, I reckon they could have probably ended with Brock over Ray, or even the Men's Survivor Series match. Like, this was a vehicle to get Shayna Baszler over, which, fair enough, but it didn't need to be in the final spot.
No, I mean, it was the match that had the best build.
Yeah, so that's why it's in the main event, but I'm guessing excuse me, hindsight's a wonderful thing. So to say, like, it doesn't deserve now, but I guess imagine that they were like, well, this is the biggest match of the card, we put this on last. Apparently Vince didn't like it either. He was not happy with a match at all. So
as someone said on Twitter, it was very distant during the Mania main event, where I think after such a great card, and I will say that it was a brilliant card and a brilliant night, this match, because of the expectation, because of everything surrounding it, again, it wasn't what we wanted.
Yeah, it wasn't. Everyone was thinking it was going to be like biblically NXT levels thing, but maybe it's just the triple threat matches don't work with these guys. Like, maybe stick to the one-on-ones, because the one-on-one matches are usually really, really good, but it's just, it's nothing you could do with this. Like I said, so much so that I can't remember much besides Bayley taking a really big knock on the apron to her hip. The finish then comes when Bayley hits an elbow off the top, but gets caught in the Karafuda clutch, and Bayley taps out. It was a lovely spot. It's the old Zack Sabre Jr. spot of catching them as they come off the top rope. It was a really, really nice spot. Did enjoy it. But then Becky Lynch, who's a sore loser, just chop blocks Baszler and puts her through a table.
Because we need Becky Lynch standing.
To paraphrase something which is true now, we've got to make Becky Lynch look strong. That's basically what they've done there. Right, remember, we have to make... You're winning, Shayna, but we have to make Becky Lynch look strong. It's just, don't do it, because you're going to Rollins her, and she's really good. Like, don't fucking do this bollocks, because I'm like, you will ruin her, and it's a real shame. I will say this. Give us your overall grade and what you prefer. This, for me, really enjoyable. A-. I did prefer this to War Games. I preferred Survivor Series to War Games.
You've said exactly what I was going to say. It was better than War Games. Like we said, if the War Games card was just the War Games, I mean, this would have been nothing. But all around, every match had, obviously, apart from that, was expectation that ruined what we wanted. It was a greatly rounded card. Every felt great. And A- for me as well.
One final thing we have to do before we leave is reveal the winner of the predictions and who will be keeping or leaving, or taking, rather, the TWM Predictions Championship. Of course, it was a Survivor Series style format. Only the strongest survive. We'll see if we had a sole survivor. McIver and Reese, they were gone straight away from NXT Takeover. They were out for the count. So it left myself, George, Kim, Shirley, and Joe. So I'm going to go through in ascending order. So in fifth place, George, 7, gone. He was the first eliminated from this Survivor Series team. The next person eliminated, all these people got the same amount, but it will be based on whether they got their bonus picks. So next eliminated is me. I got 8. I got 8. Actually, no, sorry. Late breaking news. Let me double check that. I apologize. I got that completely wrong because I did correctly select my bonus pick of Toni Storm being on Team NXT. So Kim was the next eliminator with 8, and then it is me with 8. So we are down to the champion, Joe and Shirley.
The way it should have been.
Now, one person here got 2 out of 3 of their bonus picks correct, meaning that the winner and the new TWM Wrestling Predictions Champion, it's the upset kid, it's the miracle kid, it's Brit Wrestling's most wholesome, it's Shirley. She's the champion. The reign of terror of Joe is over.
The king is dead.
So yeah, Shirley, she banged it. She got Volta and Toni Storm in both team NXTs. The only thing
how it's the person who was actually there. It's just, I'm going to enjoy my winning.
Oh no, Paige was there. Shirley was with us. So
okay, sorry, yeah,
yeah.
I get confused.
Oh, you sexist. Yeah.
Oh.
The only thing that made me laugh is that she had the most out there pick for Team Ciampa, which was Marty Scurll, and then text me 5 minutes. And then text me 5 minutes later saying, "Oh, he's in Mexico. I've just seen it on his Instagram." I'm like, so well, I fucked this then.
Was wrong.
But yeah, no, Shirley's the champion. That means she will be heading into TLC for the predictions then. Twitch.tv/TWRussell.
What date is TLC?
It's in 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. Which is?
I want to say the 13th.
13th, that is a Sunday.
No, 14th. 14th is a Sunday.
Okay. As long as we do not do the predictions.
It will be a little bit earlier because we're doing it on a Sunday, but we will sort it out. There will be a champion and a challenger. We back down to the one-on-one format, but we will decide who and when that is when the time comes. Don't, because the shipping to Dubai is going to be mad.
I will be back a week later
to collect the belts.
I am literally coming home for 2 weeks at Christmas and I have 5 wrestling shows booked in.
And you want that belt.
And I want that belt.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all at TWM Wrestle. You can subscribe to us on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, Podbean, wherever else you get your pods. TWM.news, you can go check out our written reviews for both Takeover and Survivor Series, courtesy of Daniel McIver and James Klanowski, respectively. We've got loads of articles going up all this week. We're now only 3 weeks away from TLC. We're still on that pay-per-view bandwagon. Make sure you keep up. We've got some interviews coming up. We've got loads of really, really cool interviews coming up as well. I think we've got Desmond Xavier, we've got Cara Noir, we've got David Starr, we've got D'Lo Brown, we've got all these really cool interviews coming up on TWM Talks, so please check them out. Tom, social media.
If you want minimal Twitter content, go to TD.
I am at Matty ID. Follow the champ at Shirley Shells on Twitter. We are at TWM Wrestle. Thank you for listening to TWM Talks. And I don't know. I think it's me and Tom again on Raw Talk tomorrow. I can't remember. Joe's gone to Canada for the week, so everything's gone to shit.
That loss was so bad. He left.
He's emigrated in disgrace.
He's done a Tom.
So I think it's me and Tom tomorrow for Raw. If not, it'll be some other people doing Raw. But until next Monday, thank you for listening, and we hope that you leave us a rating review and you download us again soon.